Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Easy English Talk Podcast. Priya, hey, how are you doing today?
Ryan, I am doing really well, thank you. I had a quiet morning, made some tea, and just felt very relaxed before coming in.
That sounds lovely. I actually had a pretty busy morning myself. I was running a few errands and completely lost track of time, which is a little funny given what we were talking about today.
Oh, that is very fitting, actually. Losing track of time is very much part of today's topic in a way.
It really is. And to everyone listening or watching right now, welcome. We are so happy you are here with us today. We want to ask, where are you tuning in from? Drop a comment and let us know your city or your country.
Yes, we love hearing from you. It makes the conversation feel so much more connected when we know who is on the other side listening.
And we also want to ask something a little more personal. Is this podcast helping you improve your English? Are you feeling more confident, more comfortable with the language? Let us know in the comments because your feedback truly means a lot to us.
We genuinely want to know. This podcast is made for you, and knowing that it is helping you grow is the best feeling for both of us.
Today, we are discussing what you should do if you miss a fast in Ramadan. And if you have ever missed a fast or you are curious about what happens in that situation, this episode is going to be very helpful for you.
Whether you are Muslim and this is personally relevant to you, or you are simply curious and want to understand more, we are going to walk through this topic in a clear, respectful, and easy to understand way.
By the end of this episode, you will understand why fasts are missed, what the right steps are to take after missing one, and how to approach the situation with calm and clarity. So, let us get into it.
Let us start at the beginning. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, and it is considered the most sacred month for Muslims around the world.
During this month, Muslims fast from the time of the early morning prayer, which is called Fajr, until the evening prayer, which is called Maghrib. That means no eating, no drinking, and certain other restrictions from before sunrise until after sunset.
It is a month of deep reflection, prayer, gratitude, and community. The fast is not just about not eating. It's a spiritual practice that connects people to their faith and to each other.
And for most Muslims, keeping the fast during Ramadan is something they take very seriously. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which means it's one of the core responsibilities of the faith.
But life is real, and real life does not always go according to plan. People get sick. Women experience their monthly cycle. Travelers face long and exhausting journeys. Pregnant women and nursing mothers have physical needs that cannot be ignored.
And sometimes, mistakes simply happen. Someone might eat or drink in the early morning without realizing the fast has already begun. These things happen, and they are a normal part of human life.
So the question many people have is this: if I miss a fast in Ramadan, what do I do? Is it a serious problem? Am I in trouble? How do I make it right?
And those are very understandable questions. In fact, the answers are quite clear within Islamic teaching, and they are rooted in compassion and practicality, not in punishment or shame.
That is such an important point. The religion is designed with human reality in mind. It acknowledges that people face difficulties, and it gives clear guidance on how to handle those difficulties with grace.
So let's talk about the different reasons why someone might miss a fast, because the reason actually matters when it comes to what you should do next.
The first and most common category is illness. If someone is sick and fasting would make their condition worse, or if fasting is simply not safe for them, they are allowed to break the fast or skip it entirely.
This is not seen as a failure. It's actually considered merciful and wise. The idea is that you should not harm yourself in the name of worship. Taking care of your health is also an act of responsibility.
The same applies to people with chronic conditions, those who are on medication that require food or water, and elderly people who cannot physically manage the demands of fasting.
For these individuals, missing a fast is completely valid. The important thing is what comes after, and we will get into that very soon.
The second reason is travel. In Islamic tradition, someone who is traveling a significant distance is permitted to break their fast. Long journeys can be physically exhausting, and the allowance recognizes that.
Historically, travel was far more difficult than it is today. But the ruling still applies, and travelers can choose to fast or not based on how they feel and what their journey demands.
The third reason is very specific to women. Menstruation and postnatal bleeding are situations where a woman is not permitted to fast. This is not optional. She must not fast during these days.
And this is important to understand clearly. Missing fasts during this time is not a sin. It is the correct thing to do. The religion specifically says that these women should not fast and should make up those days later.
Similarly, pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers may skip fasts if they feel that fasting would be harmful to them or to their child. Their health and the health of the child come first.
Now, the fourth category is something a little different. This is when someone intentionally breaks a fast without a valid reason. Maybe they simply could not resist food. Maybe they forgot the weight of the commitment in a moment of weakness.
This is a different situation, and it does carry more responsibility. But even in this case, the path forward is not hopelessness. It involves specific steps to make up for it.
And we will talk about those steps clearly, because whether your reason was valid or not, there is always a way forward. That is the beauty of how this is handled.
So let us now move into what you should actually do when a fast is missed. The first and most important step is understanding something called qada.
Qada is an Arabic word that means making up. When you miss a fast that you were supposed to keep, you make it up by fasting on a different day after Ramadan ends.
This is the primary response for most situations. Whether you were sick, traveling, menstruating, or even if you made a genuine mistake, you fast for that missed day at another time.
And there is flexibility here. You do not have to make up those days immediately after Ramadan. You can spread them out across the year as long as you complete them before the next Ramadan begins.
So if someone missed 5 days of fasting due to illness, they would simply fast 5 days on their own at some point during the following 11 months. It can be on any day they choose.
That flexibility is very helpful for people who are recovering from illness, for mothers who are still breastfeeding, or for anyone who needs time before they can take on fasting again.
And scholars generally encourage people not to delay unnecessarily. It is better to complete the makeup fast when you feel capable, rather than leaving everything to the last few weeks before the next Ramadan.
Now, there is something additional that applies in specific situations. This is called fidya. Fidya is a form of compensation that involves feeding a person in need.
Fidya applies when someone is unable to fast and is also unable to make up the fast later. This is most commonly the case for elderly people or for those with serious long-term illness.
If a person genuinely cannot fast now and also cannot realistically fast later, they are allowed to pay fidya instead. This means feeding one poor person for each day of fasting that was missed.
The amount varies slightly depending on the country and the local scholars, but it is generally the cost of a basic meal or a set amount of food like wheat or rice given to someone in need.
So, for example, if an elderly man missed 20 days of fasting because his health simply does not allow him to fast, he would provide food for 20 needy individuals. That becomes his compensation for those days.
It is a beautiful system because it connects personal worship with community care. Even when someone cannot fast physically, they can still contribute something meaningful to others.
Now let us talk about a more serious situation. This is called kafara. Kafara is a term that means expiation, which means making up for a serious error in a significant way.
Kafara applies in specific cases, mainly when someone intentionally breaks a fast during Ramadan without a valid excuse. It can also apply in other specific situations depending on the school of Islamic thought.
The traditional kafara for breaking a Ramadan fast without reason involves 3 steps in order. The first is freeing a slave, which in modern times is no longer applicable, so we move to the second.
The second is fasting for 60 consecutive days. That means 60 days of fasting in a row without skipping even one day in between. It is significant, and it is meant to reflect the seriousness of the situation.
And if someone is physically unable to do that, they move to the third option, which is feeding 60 poor people. Again, this is providing food for each of those 60 days to someone who needs it.
Kafara is not meant to be a punishment in a harsh sense. It is meant to restore balance, to recognize the weight of the commitment that was broken, and to make meaningful amends.
And it is worth saying clearly that most scholars encourage people in this situation to speak to a knowledgeable person, an imam or a scholar, to get proper guidance specific to their situation.
Because the details matter. Different schools of Islamic thought have slightly different views on exactly when kafara applies and how it should be carried out. Getting personal guidance is very valuable.
That brings up an important point about seeking knowledge. One of the most helpful things anyone can do when they have religious questions is to ask someone who has studied the subject properly.
It is easy to feel confused or even ashamed when you have missed a fast, but reaching out to a trusted imam, a scholar, or even a reliable Islamic resource can give you real clarity and peace of mind.
And there is no shame in asking.
In fact, asking questions is highly encouraged in Islamic tradition. Seeking knowledge is considered an act of worship itself.
That is a wonderful reminder. And for anyone listening who might be feeling a little guilty or uncertain right now, please know that the system of making up missed fasts is designed with mercy at its center.
Exactly. Islam is not designed to make people feel helpless when they face challenges. It is designed to give people a clear, practical, and compassionate path forward in every situation.
So let us quickly bring together what we have covered so far before we go deeper. If you miss a fast for a valid reason, such as illness, travel, or menstruation, you make up that fast through qada at a later date.
If you are permanently unable to fast due to age or chronic illness, you pay fidya by feeding a person in need for each day missed. And if you intentionally broke a fast without a valid reason, you address it through kafara.
And in all cases, the advice is to seek guidance, stay calm, and approach the situation with the intention to do what is right. Intention is always at the heart of Islamic practice.
Let us now talk about something that many people find very relatable. What happens when someone forgets they are fasting and accidentally eats or drinks something?
This is actually one of the most commonly asked questions about Ramadan fasting, and the answer is quite reassuring. If someone forgets they are fasting and eats or drinks, their fast is not broken.
Yes, this is clearly stated in Islamic teaching. If it was a genuine accident, the person simply stops eating or drinking as soon as they remember and continues the fast for the rest of the day.
There is no need to make up that day later. The fast remains valid. The understanding is that the person did not intend to break the fast, and intention is what matters.
This is such a relief for many people to hear, because in the rush of a busy morning or when you're half asleep before sunrise, it is very easy to forget for a moment.
And the same understanding applies if someone was forced to eat or drink against their will, or if they had no choice due to a medical emergency. The fast remains intact because there was no intention to break it.
Intention is truly the foundation here. Every act of worship in Islam begins with intention, and when the intention is absent because of forgetfulness or compulsion, the ruling changes.
Now, let us shift a little and talk about the emotional side of missing a fast. Because for many Muslims, especially those who are very sincere about their faith, missing a fast can feel like a personal failure.
And that feeling is completely understandable. Ramadan is such a sacred month. People look forward to it all year. They want to do their best, and when something disrupts that, it can feel deeply disappointing.
But it is important to hold on to perspective. Missing one or even several fasts does not erase the effort you have made throughout the rest of the month. Your prayers, your charity, your kindness, your sincerity, all of that still counts.
And going back to what we said earlier, the system for making up missed fasts exists precisely because Allah, in the Islamic understanding, is merciful. The religion acknowledges that humans are imperfect and that life brings real challenges.
There is a beautiful concept in Arabic called rahma, which means mercy. And this concept is central to how Islam views human weakness and difficulty. You are not expected to be perfect. You are expected to try and to return.
That is such a meaningful way to think about it. The focus is always on returning. If you fall short, you come back. You make your intention, you take the right steps, and you move forward.
And that applies not just to fasting, but to so many areas of life. The idea of returning after a mistake, of not giving up on yourself, is one of the most powerful lessons in spiritual life.
Absolutely. And for our listeners who are learning English while engaging with this topic, there is a parallel here too. When you make a mistake in English, you do not give up. You correct it, you keep going, and you grow.
That is a lovely connection. Growth in faith and growth in language both require patience, consistency, and a willingness to try again after a setback.
Let us now talk about some practical tips for people who want to manage their Ramadan fasts better and reduce the chances of needing to make up missed days.
The first tip is preparation. Before Ramadan begins, take stock of your health, your schedule, and your commitments. If you know there are days when fasting will be very difficult, plan ahead for how you will handle them.
For example, if you are a student with important exams during Ramadan, speak to a scholar about how to approach that. If you are traveling for work, understand the rulings that apply to travelers so you are not caught off guard.
The second tip is to take the pre-dawn meal, which is called suhoor, seriously. Many people skip it because they feel too tired to wake up, but a proper suhoor can make a huge difference in how you feel throughout the day.
Eating foods that give you energy slowly, like oats, eggs, whole grains, and drinking plenty of water, can help your body manage the fast more comfortably from morning until evening.
The third tip is to listen to your body. If you're feeling genuinely unwell during a fast, do not push through it in a way that causes harm.
Breaking the fast due to real illness is permitted, and making it up later is straightforward.
Many people feel internal pressure to push through discomfort because they don't want to miss a day. But recognizing the difference between manageable discomfort and genuine harm is a skill worth developing.
The fourth tip is to build a support system. Fasting is much more sustainable when you are surrounded by people who are also fasting, or at least people who understand and respect what you are doing.
Family, friends, and community all play a huge role in Ramadan. Sharing iftar, the evening meal where you break the fast, with others creates a sense of joy and belonging that makes the whole month feel different.
And the fifth tip is to keep track of your fasts. If you miss days, write them down. Keeping a simple record means you won't forget how many you need to make up, and you can plan ahead for completing them.
That is such a practical step. People often have good intentions about making up missed fasts, but then the months pass and they realize they have lost count. A simple note or a phone reminder can fix that completely.
And ideally, start making up the missed fasts as soon as you are able to. Do not wait until the next Ramadan is close. Giving yourself plenty of time makes it feel much less overwhelming.
Now, let us address something that comes up quite a bit. What about people who are new to Islam or who are learning how to observe Ramadan for the first time?
This is a really important group to acknowledge. New Muslims often feel a lot of pressure to do everything correctly right from the start. And while that sincerity is beautiful, it can also create unnecessary anxiety.
For new Muslims, the most important thing is to approach Ramadan with a genuine intention to learn and to try. You will make mistakes. You will have questions. And that is completely okay.
Finding a knowledgeable Muslim community, a mosque, an Islamic center, or even a trusted online resource led by qualified scholars can provide a lot of guidance and reassurance.
And there's a lot of patience extended toward new Muslims in Islamic tradition. The emphasis is always on sincere effort and growth, not on perfect execution from day one.
The same is true for young people who are beginning to fast for the first time. Children are not required to fast, but as they approach adulthood, many begin to try. It is a gradual process, and support from family matters greatly.
Parents can play a beautiful role in helping children understand the meaning behind fasting, so it does not feel like a burden, but rather something they genuinely want to do as they grow in their faith.
That foundation of meaning and understanding makes all the difference. When people know why they are doing something, they are much more motivated to do it well and to return to it when they fall short.
Let us also briefly talk about a question that sometimes comes up. What if someone cannot make up the missed fasts before the next Ramadan arrives?
This does happen. Life can be unpredictable. A person might intend to make up their fasts and then face another illness, another pregnancy, or another difficult period that prevents them from doing so.
Scholars generally say that a person should make every effort to complete their make-up fasts before the next Ramadan. But if they were genuinely unable to, due to circumstances beyond their control, they seek guidance and continue with sincere intention.
In some cases, if there was genuine negligence, meaning the person could have made up the fasts but chose not to without reason, there may be additional expiation required along with making up the fasts.
Again, this is where consulting a scholar becomes very valuable. They can look at the specifics of someone's situation and provide guidance that is both accurate and compassionate.
The key message is this: do not let guilt or confusion paralyze you. Whatever your situation is, there is always a clear and merciful path forward. The door is always open.
That is such a powerful way to put it. And that brings us to a broader reflection on what this whole discussion really teaches us about life and about our relationship with our values and commitments.
Missing a fast in Ramadan is not the end of the story. It is simply a moment that calls for awareness, honesty, and action. You recognize what happened, you understand what to do, and you take those steps.
And that approach of recognizing, understanding, and acting is actually a great model for handling any kind of challenge or shortcoming in life, whether it is in your faith, your work, your relationships, or your personal goals.
You do not need to be perfect. You need to be sincere, willing to learn, and willing to try again. That is what matters most in almost every meaningful area of human life.
And for our English learners specifically, we hope that you found this episode not just informative about Ramadan, but also a good practice in listening and understanding natural English conversation.
We try to explain everything clearly and slowly so that you could follow along comfortably. If you heard a word or phrase you did not understand, feel free to replay that part and listen again.
Listening to content that genuinely interests you is one of the best ways to improve your English naturally. When the topic matters to you, your brain engages more, and learning happens faster.
And topics like faith, culture, and real-life situations are wonderful for language learning because they are rich with meaningful vocabulary and authentic conversation patterns.
So whether you were listening today for the religious guidance, for the cultural understanding, or for the English practice, we hope you feel like your time was well spent.
We certainly enjoyed exploring this topic together. It is the kind of subject that deserves to be discussed with care and clarity, and we hope we did it justice today.
Before we wrap up, let us do a quick and friendly review of the main points we covered today. If you miss a fast in Ramadan, the first thing to remember is that there is always a clear path forward.
The most common response is qada, which means making up the missed fast on a different day after Ramadan. This applies to illness, travel, menstruation, and many other valid reasons.
For those who are permanently unable to fast, fidya offers a compassionate alternative by feeding someone in need for each day missed. And for serious situations involving intentionally breaking the fast, kafara provides a structured way to make meaningful amends.
If you forgot you were fasting and accidentally ate or drank something, your fast remains valid as long as you stop as soon as you remember. Intention is everything.
And through all of it, the approach is one of mercy, practicality, and human understanding. The religion does not expect perfection. It expects sincerity and effort.
We also talked about the emotional side of missing a fast, the importance of seeking guidance from knowledgeable people, and some practical tips for managing your fasts more effectively during Ramadan.
And we reflected on how the principle of returning after a mistake, of not giving up on yourself, applies not just to fasting, but to so many parts of life.
It has been a genuinely meaningful conversation today, Ryan. I really enjoyed it, and I hope our listeners did too.
Same here, Priya. And to everyone who has been listening, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We know your time is valuable, and we do not take it for granted.
Thank you for trusting us with your English learning journey and for being curious about topics that matter. We see you, and we appreciate you.
If this episode helped you, please leave us a comment, give us a like, and share it with someone who might find it useful. Your support helps us continue making content that is genuinely valuable.
And if you are looking for more episodes to keep improving your English and learning about meaningful topics, there is so much more waiting for you on the Easy English Talk podcast channel.
We cover a wide range of topics, from everyday life and culture to health, relationships, personal growth, and so much more, all explained in simple, clear English that is perfect for learners at every level.
So go ahead and explore the channel. Find the topics that interest you and keep listening. The more you listen, the more your English will grow, and that growth is something to be proud of.
This is Ryan wishing you a wonderful day, a meaningful Ramadan if you are observing it, and continued progress on your journey. Take care of yourselves, everyone.
And this is Priya saying thank you for being here with us today. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep going. We will see you in the next episode.